Tippi Hedren. Now, we were talking before we started already, your tips from Tippi.
Yeah, well, I'm going to write a book.
Tips from Tippi.
I've already done one book, but this is going to be very, very, very important.
Like helpful hints from Heloise, tips from Tippi?
Yes.
Now, you started out, you were born in Minnesota, correct?
I was.
And am I right? You went to New York and became a model.
Actually, I started modeling in Minneapolis.
You did, really?
Yes. I got off the streetcar and this woman handed me her card and she said, would you have your mother bring you down to Donaldson's department store? We'd like to have you model in the Saturday morning fashion show.
That's how Garbo started. Go talking about. So you were very young. And then you moved out here and you continued to model as well?
Yes, I did. And then, of course, New York was going, yoo-hoo.
How old were you when you went to New York?
I was 20.
20. Okay, so you were a beautiful 20-year-old girl crossing the nation in a train from L.A. to New York to become a famous model and movie star.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that must have been some train trip with lots of secrets on it. Do you remember the first commercial you did? The first thing that was like, wow, that's me?
Yeah, it was a Chesterfield commercial, and I didn't smoke, so I had to learn how to smoke. Because you can't fake that.
So you're doing commercials, and you did a Diet Pepsi or Coke commercial?
No, Diet was a pet milk product called Seago. It was a diet drink. I think I weighed all of 100 pounds when I did that.
You're still on the diet drinking Seago and you're 100 pounds. I want to get down to 20. And what, Hitchcock saw that on the Today Show?
Yes, he did, and it was more of a story. It wasn't just holding up a glass and drinking.
So Hitchcock saw you.
He saw it on the Today Show.
And then what happened? Your phone rang? I mean, what was the deal?
Well, by that time I had moved out back to California, because I had my little girl, and I wanted Melanie to just be able to say, have that little independence of saying I'm going out to play.
Oh, right.
Which you can't do in the streets of New York. So I moved back out here and I rented a very expensive home, and I thought my career would go on as it had in New York, only it wasn't. And I was thinking, what am I going to do now? All of a sudden I got this phone call from an executive at Universal. And he said, are you the woman in the Seago commercial? I said, yes. He said, would you bring some photos and any film that you have over to the studio? So I thought, okay. And I walked in and showed him the film, and we talked for a while. And I said, well, so who is this producer, director? And he said, he just changed the subject. He never told me.
Oh, really? You had no idea what it was?
I didn't know. So that was on a Friday the 13th of October in 1961. And I left that office not knowing who it was. So all weekend I'm thinking, who is that?
Yeah, who is this? And is this a big deal? Should I be worried? Should I care?
On Tuesday, I went to MCA, and Herman Citron was an agent there, and he said, Alfred Hitchcock wants to sign you to a contract if you approve of all of the, approve of everything in the contract, we will go over and meet him.
Your Svengali, if that's what I can call him, who do you think painted that?
Oh, it looks like an Erte.
Doesn't look like Erte? No. It says it's the clothes that make the lady, and they're the flags of the Allies of the First World War.
Oh.
And it's signed Hitch, 1919, Alfred J. Hitchcock. Did you know he painted?
No.
Yeah, he did. And what was he like? Do you recall the first time you met him?
He stood at the door looking very pleased with himself.
He was probably very pleased with you when he saw you walk through the door.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway.
He had a thing for women of your type. Blonde women. Oh, yeah. I have a list here. Ingrid Bergman, Kim Novak, Eva Marie Saint, Ann Baxter, Janet Leigh, Barbara Harris, Doris Day, Karen Black, who had very long blonde hair, which I don't think she really had.
Left out Grace.
Tippi Hedren, so I was saving the best for last. And Grace Kelly, right?
Yeah.
So it's a tough act to follow.
So I knew that they were working on a movie called The Birds, and it never occurred to me that I would be even considered for that role, because I had never done a film before. Lots of commercials, which gives you a good technical, basis, but not, I mean, when you have to deal with becoming a character, it's a whole different thing.
Well, The Birds is an interesting film, I think, even more so now because of what we're going through with the whole global warming and the whole awareness of the environment and the whole sense that, you know, we're responsible as the most intelligent species on the planet. We're responsible for the maintenance of the planet. And someday maybe somebody's not going to like it in another species, you know, and revolt. I remember seeing that movie as a kid, scared the bejeebies out of me.
Oh, I hope so. Alfred Hitchcock had a great timing of making movies. I mean, when they were really an experience to do it. You know, so much more than now than the special effects that you have in your, you know, you
Well, you must have had more contact with the story back then than I think people
so.
do now.
Yes.
But I watched Marnie again last night. I hadn't seen it in quite a while. And I was reminded in that film how much Hitchcock made us root for the criminal. There you were. There you were. I love that shot of you in the safe, and you take and then you know, you're in the safe, and we've got a char woman cleaning up, and it almost looks like a split screen.
Yes.
So lit. And then you take off your shoes, and you're like, "Don't drop that shoe," and the shoe falls. You're like, "Oh!" And the lady's hard of hearing.
Yes, she was.
But you were crazy in that movie.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you were really disturbed.
It was an incredible film to do, and not only the storyline was that people weren't at that time. If something happened to a child, they'd just kind of sweep it under the cover, under the rug, and not deal with it. This just showed what happens to...
How far-reaching it is, what we do today. So you worked with Chaplin as well. Now that is fantastic.
Yeah, I think I'm the only actress who has worked for Hitchcock and Chaplin as well.
Tell me about that. He cast you in, what was it, Countess of Hong Kong? Is that what?
Countess of Hong Kong. With Sophia Loren and Marlon Brando. And none of us were given scripts.
Brando.
Before.
Oh my gosh, you worked with Brando as well. What was that like?
Interesting.
Was he kind of, was he
No, he was
nice?
Fun.
He was funny?
So the problem
engaging?
was that since we didn't have scripts until we got to England, that he read the script and promptly got the flu.
I wonder if that was a real flu.
I'm not.
Or is he just in like Chaplin wrote the script?
Yes.
And he directed it?
And directed. Wrote it, did the music, everything. The film was really watching Charlie. Because the way he directed, he would act out everybody's part. He'd be Sophia Loren's character, he'd be my character, then he'd be Marlon's character, and then his son. I mean, it was just beautiful. And then say, oh, now you do it. Well, Brando didn't appreciate that kind of directing at all.
I'm going to go back to Hitchcock because this is what Hitchcock said about you. He said, you were like a dormant volcano we know one day is going to erupt. Get a look at that girl. She's going to be good. I gave her the leading part in The Birds. It's a big part. I think Svengali Hitch rides again.
He was very controlling.
He was.
Yes. And I was about 3/4 of the way through Marnie, and I thought, you know what, I can't stand it.
Really? How? When you say controlling, how just every move, everything was orchestrated down to the last. Really? He said, "Well, I'll ruin your career."
And he did.
He did?
Yes, but he had kept paying me all the time, and you know, by the time I got out of The Birds and Marnie, I was, as the Hollywood expression goes, hot.
Yeah, right,
and
of course.
A lot of directors were wanting me for their films. I wouldn't even hear about it for years later. The one that really bothered me was Truffaut wanted me for a film.
Oh, boy.
And, you know, it was so easy. All he did was say, she's not available.
But when was the last time you saw Hitchcock?
It was at an AFI event.
Well, they saluted him. He was a grand old man, wasn't he? He really was. He scared the bejeebies out of me as a kid.
Oh, some of his films were...
Well, some of those TV shows he did as a kid, late night, when he had Barbara Bel Geddes in. Do you remember the one with Barbara Bel Geddes?
Yes, I do.
And her husband is just a tyrant. And poor Barbara Bel Geddes has been cleaning the house all day, and the husband comes in and pushes her around and says he's going to leave her, and she's just a washed-up old thing, and she's like 28 years old, right? Do you remember that?
Yes.
She whacks him over the head with a leg of lamb. I think that he
yes,
directed.
And then she feeds the lamb to the police.
To the police,
to the leg of
who
the
figure they had been whispering that she had done it, but they could never find the weapon.
They couldn't find the weapon. There they are.
He was brilliant.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, coming into town. You live way up in Acton.
I do, and I love Acton.
You love Acton?
Yes, I do.
The glamour of Hollywood. You get back into town occasionally?
Whenever I want it, I can have it.
Whenever
most
you want
of the time, Most of the time I go in and see my daughter and Antonio.
I've skied like twice in my life, and I was in Aspen, and not many people are really there, and all of a sudden this guy comes down in an orange jumpsuit, and a crowd is following with women, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And later at the bottom I see your son-in-law down there in this orange jumpsuit, skiing. He can ski.
Yes,
she
he
follows
can.
him. There's
Yes.
no secret. Your daughter is madly in love with that man.
And he is
she?
madly in love with her too, so it's a perfect match.
And this little cat is so cute, right?
That's
here.
a little Asian
If
leopard
this
cat.
is the cat that you're up there in Acton, not being in Beverly Hills for, you know what? You better get up there right now and take
That's
care
right,
of this
take care
kitty.
of that little thing.
Because he does not want to see you at the Polo Lounge drinking martinis tonight.
No, he won't either. You know that I had adopted the whole litter of 6 kittens.
Well,
I named them.
You know what you
Rod Taylor,
Rod Taylor.
Sean Connery,
Sean Connery.
Marlon Brando,
Oh my God.
Antonio Banderas, and Melanie Griffith. And I sleep with them every night.
So you sleep with Sean Connery and Marlon Brando every night. Is that the first time you ever slept with Sean Connery?
Oh,
and
that
Marlon
is
Brando?
none of your business.
Oh, well, I would sleep with Dave Lee. I would sleep with, no, you know, I just watched that movie last night. I have to tell you, I had forgotten how stunning Sean Connery is.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he has or had. In that film, there's a lot of magnetism going on.
Absolutely.
I mean, when he grabs you and he kisses you, you do not beat him back, girl, let me tell you.
You know something, people have said, what is it like to kiss Sean Connery? And I said, you know something, I don't really know. The camera was as close as you, and the lights were everywhere.
But it's a very sexy scene. And
it is a very sexy
my
scene.
favorite, you said that there are more tigers in the United States than there are in Asia.
There are. But we actually don't even have any idea of how many wild animals are living in people's homes, apartments, basements, whatever, because of the laws.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, you're doing your damnedest to make it better, and that's always commendable.
Yes, I am, and I've got a whole lot of wonderful people working with me. So.
Little Day Lee, it's got my name on it. That thing, I'm going to come up there and I am going to kiss it. It better pucker up. I'm telling you, this is the cat.
I'll warn him.
This is the cat from. It's a male.
It's a male.
I don't care. I'm going to kiss it anyway.
Absolutely.
I don't care what it is. I'm going to pucker up and kiss it right on the nose.
They are cute.
They are. That is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Tippi Hedren, great to have you. Thank you so much.
you.
Shambhala.org.
.org.
Learn more about it, and I would love to come up. I honestly would, and act and find out what the country girl's doing up there.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Thank you.